This is a review of the ESV Bible with creeds and confessions in Trutone black. This is actually not my copy, thanks to my friend who loaned this to me because I gave away my other copy to someone else who needed it. This Bible, I think, is hot selling for a number of reasons. This is the Trutone black edition. There is a goatskin edition as well. I really wish they would have made a genuine leather edition. This feels good in the hand. It feels leather-ish, but I don't care for these. I've had way too many Bibles over the years that have been the Trutone type stuff, and they just chip away, and it doesn't take much. All it takes is just sitting on the shelf long enough. I have one that's in tatters over there. So I wish they would have made a genuine leather, because the goatskin is like $200. This one is nice. As you see, it's Smith sewn here, or Smythe sewn, however you pronounce that. This one has been well used by my friend. It's 6 by 9, I would guess. 6 by 9.5, 9.5 that way, and 6 and almost 6.5 on this way. 2.5 maybe. And it is China printed, which many don't like for understandable reasons. But this is some really nice China paper. I know that other companies use other printers for philosophical reasons and even quality reasons, but I've been pretty happy with the China paper. Here, it flips pretty easily. It feels like a 32, if not 36 GSM paper. When you grab it, it's easy to grab right then and there. It's not the best paper I've ever felt, but it is pretty good. And the opacity also is pretty good. I don't love the new font by Crossway. I forget the name of the font that they used, but this one has, I think, been elongated in its height. It is probably, looks like a 9-point font right there. Maybe just a hair bigger than 9. It might be a 10. I think it's a 9.5, if I remember correctly, from the website. And because of all those factors, it has the creeds and catechisms and confessions, and because it's decent paper, pretty good paper. I'll compare it for a moment to, this is the original ESV 2001 that came out when the ESV first did, and this is printed in the US of A. That's the classic reference edition. You can tell the difference between this and the New Classic by the headings that are either italicized, like here, and bolded and bigger, or just bolded and bigger here. There's some font differences, typeface differences as well, but most people don't notice those. But this paper is just amazing. The opacity's about the same, if I had to guess, but it grabs very easily. Very thick, nice paper. And the color, it seems about the same as well to my naked eye. So this one is good, but in a different way. It does have the references there down at the bottom right there. But of course, what people tend to buy this for is because it has what most Bibles don't. Weights and measure, that's fine. Concordance is normal too. But when you get to the end of the concordance, that's when you get things that other Bibles don't. Here's the table of contents. Apostles' Creed, Nicene Creed, Athanasian, Chalcedonian Confession, which I'm pretty sure most don't have that, Augsburg Confession, Belgic, Articles of Religion, Canzador, Westminster, London Baptist Confession, my favorite, Heidelberg, Westminster Larger, and Westminster Shorter. If I recall correctly, even Schuyler, who has been putting out Bibles of Creeds for 12 years or so, 2012 I think they started to do that, they don't include several of these other ones. I don't have my list in front of me, and I have given away or sold one of my other Schuyler Bibles that has the creeds, but it has a London, it has a Westminster, maybe the Augsburg, for sure the Apostles' Creed and the Nicene Creed, and I think the larger and shorter Westminster as well. But I think it lacks some of these other ones, like the Heidelberg, which is to me a big one because it's a devotionally helpful catechism. And I'm not sure it has Belgic and Canons of Dort, but I'd have to check the list later. This has been put together, as you see here in the introduction, by Chad Van Dixhoorn. The information for that is in the front. He's the premier scholar for the Westminster and other creeds and confessions. The Baptist one is taken from James Renahan, who's in our circles, and from his document Faith and Life for Baptists, Reformed Baptist Academic Press, 2016. And then the Canons of Dort, Heidelberg, Belgic are all taken from the Psalter Hymnal, 1987, which I have a copy on my shelf over there. So in other words, this has really good confessions of faith. Now, that being said, let's see if I can find the London. The edition that it does use has, of the London anyway, has randomly capitalized words, which makes it more authentic to the original documents that came out in the 1600s, but I don't find that necessarily any more helpful or understandable, so I could take or leave that. So this has basically all the functional bells and whistles you could ask. It even has maps in the back, as you see here from the Catechism. They hasn't been updated at all. That's what rule hath God given and so forth. So I think this is one of those really helpful tools, especially at 20, 30, 40 bucks in Trutone for Christians to have on their shelf, even if they don't use it regularly. The ESV is a solid, good translation, and it's not the one that I preach from, but I still think that it is worth reading and worth referencing and worth studying.